You see, anytime I get the chance to speak, I like to start by telling us a bit about history. Because to me, history has proven to be the best teacher anywhere. I did my dissertation in financing renewable energy projects, where I did a comparative analysis of the UK, Germany, all countries I have been in, and then Nigeria, where I come from. Uh, what I found is that the UK and Germany are a very bit advanced when it comes to how they fund their renewable energy projects. And one key thing that they have is that apart from the policy environment that they have, which is always stable, these people are able to come up with some financial tools that always mobilize investment and also give guarantee to their investors. One of the most prominent ones for Germany is in 2000, in the early 2000s, Germany started what is called as the fit-in tariffs, and just to give investors some guarantee to their investments. And fast forward to 2024, that single financial tool was able to mobilize over 28 billion euros in financing for solar and wind projects. When you come to the United Kingdom, instead of doing fit-in tariffs, they tried at some point, but they had to remodel it into what is called contracts for differences. And that has mobilized over 30 billion pounds for them in investments. So now, you now bring it to Africa. You know, it's not like Africa is not doing well. Of course, Africa, we have a lot of successes to mention. For instance, I was just reading prior to coming to this panel, and I saw that South Africa, the country we're in, was able to mobilize over $30 billion in private investment, which is absolutely commendable. If you talk about Kenya today, they are global leaders in geothermal deployment. You can see a lot of progresses with our IPPs and with our PPAs, of course. But then there are a lot of things that are missing, because Africa is the continent that has the greatest potential for renewable energy. When you talk about sun, we have better potential than any other continent. But you know the saddest thing? Of all the global investments that go into renewable energy, only 3% comes to Africa. And this is what me and a lot of other people here are not supposed to be happy with. It's supposed to, give us some sleepless night, because why? We have the potential and yet we are only able to attract 3%. And I love the question that you said, what are the things that we currently underutilize? First, I would say that we really need to utilize the green investment banking. Of course, there is green investment banking in Africa, but it's not up to the par or up to our potential, to provide all this financing. So imagine countries come together, maybe create regional green investment banks, maybe West African Green Investment Bank, or South African, or they can even do it at continental levels, where local banks are empowered to invest in green energy startups. I know why the local banks don't do that much now, because you talk about the issues of the risk factors in Africa, where you have changes of policies every now and then, with every administration coming in with their policies, with their policy influencers, and that is providing so much risk to the investors. So this is one of the instruments that we can actually utilize very well, and it has the power of bringing lots of billions to us. It has given the United Kingdom, as of today, it has given the United Kingdom over 30 billion pounds in investment. So if UK can do it, I think Africa can also do it. Secondly is that we have a problem with our local currencies. The issue of stability. I want to talk about where I know most, Nigeria, for instance. We wake up every day with new dollar rates, new pound rates, new South African rand rates, which is often a very big issue. But countries can create a local currency bond where they can use some investments or even development finance institutions to provide credit worthiness and some guarantees. We have the African Development Bank here on this panel. We have the AIM on this panel. We have a lot of institutions that can be able to tell us more about how we can do this. But this is one thing that we really need to utilize. There are a lot of tools, but let me say this one. We need some aggregation platforms in Africa. I think this is not really prominent here. There are a lot of startups. The thing with Africa is that we have a lot of startups, but most of them are actually not bankable, simply because some of the startups have not done their feasibility studies very well. And this is to the startup people that have startups here. You need to do your feasibilities very well. And another thing is that most of these platforms, they are not utility platforms. And for an investor that is willing to invest $1 million or $2 million or in billion terms, because renewable energy is capital intensive, we need startups that are, that are up to these utility skills. And the only or the easier way we can achieve this is when we have an aggregation platform that bring the startup from South Africa, the one from Kenya, the one from Rwanda, and all of them, bring them together and form a utility scale. That way, if they get the investment, they are going to share the risk, and it will be very easier for them to implement. Finally, the problem with Africa is not actually the absence of financial tools. All these I'm saying we have them, but they are not prominent, and maybe they need to be carried out in a better way. But the most prominent tool that is very absent and is or maybe commonly underutilized in Africa is not financial tool. Do you know what it is? It is trust. Trust in our institutions, trust in our developers, trust in the, in the vast potential that I can see in this room, young people doing something. We need that trust to be established, and in doing so, the government has to provide that environment that investors can feel very confident to trust our institutions, trust our potential, trust our market, and also catalyze better things. UK, Germany, and all other European countries, and maybe some in America, didn't just get that. They didn't wake up to just that. They created this environment. And I believe if we can build our institutions based on trustworthiness, guys, we are going to have a massive continent with so much light, electricity, not just that, but a lot of businesses and money. Yeah.